Hello and welcome to this new Android development tutorial. This is part 3 on how to create a to-do list application for Android. In the previous tutorials, we learned how can we read the information, how can we write the information, set the adapter data, and so on. Right now, I am starting up my emulator in order for me to be ready to test the application, so I will just start it. And as I wait, I will be talking a bit on how can we improve the app, what features we can add in the future, and how can we make the app better in general terms. Okay, so this is the main file. Oops, sorry. So right now, as you can see, my emulator started, and I am trying to get back to the. So I think I'll have to wait a bit for this thing to be ready. But yeah, so this is my main activity.java file right here, as you can see. At the top we have the array list of strings, which is called list. This data type, this variable is storing all the to-do list items we have, okay, which is great. Now on the onCreate method, which is the first method of the application, by the way, I really encourage you to start by writing, by, how to say it, start with the methods that are executed first. So as you can see, the onCreate method is the first method I have on this class because the onCreate method is the first method that it's called by the system. In this way, I can start to read the code as it happens, right? So I go first with the first, then with what happens next, and I won't be confused that much. So inside the onCreate method, the first thing that happens in our application is the set content view are the layout that activity main. So this basically tells the app to just show whatever we want to show it. In this case, the layout specified in activity main. Of course, it is a very simple layout that shows a couple of buttons, a couple of widgets, and the list view that contains the tasks that we have to make, right? Okay, so then we have the list view, the text adapter, and here we are reading the information, which, as I told you in the previous tutorial, this was a kind of a efficient way of doing it. You can also call this method inside the onResume method, but that will mean every time you pause and resume the activity, the method will be called, and that's not really efficient. Okay, but then we just set the data, set the adapter, and then we can set the onItem click listener right here. And when the item is clicked, we are asked the user if he or she wants to delete this task, and if he or she says yes, then we remove the task from the list and we update the data, and if he or she says no, then we do nothing, and then we show the dialog. Okay, so then if the user wants to add a task, so far so good. Right now the code we wrote in the previous line is great. I'm kind of reading it again to see if I can find a better way of doing this, but it looks great actually. Now we go to the new task button, set on click listener. We have our edit text that enables the user to write the new task, and we have two buttons. The first is to add the task, and when we click that button, we add the task to the array list, and then we update the data again. And that's basically it. Now on the onPause method, every time the activity is paused, we're saving the information to storage. And talking about saving information, we have the save info method down here, which is of course inside a tray block because it's performing file operations. It creates a file which is called saved, then it creates a file output stream, a buffer writer, and we start writing every line of the list. Then we close it, and that's it. Then we have our read information method, which basically does the same, but now it's reading from the saved file, from the file we saved previously, and it again creates this time a file input stream and a buffered reader. And again, it reads the line until it doesn't have anything else to read, and then it stops. Okay, which is also great. Now on the adapter, we're setting the data, we're clearing the previous data because we don't need that. We add the new data and we tell the adapter that we have new data, so we're telling please show the new data. Of course, in get count, we have to return the actual count of the list, which is list.size. And now on get view, here in get view, we're defining the layout inflator. And as you can see here, we have a sort of warning because we're not being very efficient. We're not using the recycled view. So we have to fix this to make this a bit more efficient. How can we fix this? Well, first of all, what we will start doing here is instead of this row view, we won't use this, right? What we will do instead is, as the first thing, we're gonna check if convert view is null. So I'm gonna say if convert view equals null, okay? In the case convert view is null, what we're gonna do is we will create this layout inflator. Okay, this can be final but doesn't have to. So it's kind of a good practice sometimes, but it doesn't have to be final. And after that, we're gonna set convert view to this line right here of the inflator and all of these. Of course, we have to set these to inside the if block. So after we create inflator, we use the inflator right here. Of course, we have to use that convert view in order to get the text view. So instead of row view, which we deleted, we will say convert view, okay? And instead of return row view, we will return convert view. Right now, this new code is way more efficient than the previous one, okay? But we haven't tested it yet, so let's run it and check that it's working fine. So right now I'm compiling the project and I'm waiting for the IDE to send the compiled APK to my Android emulator. Okay, it's now been sent and the emulator has the application. As you can see, here we have these tasks right here. If I click on that and I click on yes, the task is deleted. If I want to add a new task, for example, one, add task, and I will keep doing that just for testing purposes. Two, I'll go and say 3, add task, new task, 4, add task, and I will keep doing this. Why? Well, because I want to have enough elements in order for me to test that the scrolling capability of the list view works as I expect. So let me just add a couple of more tasks. I'm on 8 and I'll go to 9. And as you can see, I'm scrolling now. I can even add one more, maybe 10, and add task. And as you can see, it's working great. But now the difference between now and previously is now is way more efficient because the list view is reusing views and it's not creating convert view every time the get view method is called. It's only converting these or creating these when the convert view is null, which is about 10% of the time. So that means that we have improved 10x the efficiency of our application. And this is really the way that it's meant to be used. That list view is meant to be used. So right now we have created some really important fix. And if we go back to the application and we can change something here, maybe we want to hide the top bar, the status bar, and maybe we want to hide the to-do list title. How do we do that? Well, depending on you, you may or may not want to do that, but I actually want to do that. And to do that, we will open the rest folder here at the left, and we will open the values folder, and we will open the styles.xml file. Inside this file, we have the style that is called app theme, which in this case is extending theme that app compat that light that dark action bar. And inside that, we have some items like color primary and all of that, which are set by default, but we will create a new item which is called window no title, and we will set these to true. If we run the app again, we will see that this to-do list title that is appearing here will be gone. Okay, so right now I am waiting for the app to be compiled and be sent to the emulator. As you can see, now it has been sent and I don't have that title anymore. So, but I still have this bar, but maybe I want to delete that. Maybe I don't. Well, if you don't want to delete that bar, you can just leave it as it is. But if you want to delete it, then you can do the following. You go back to our styles.xml file, you create a new item, and here we're gonna say full screen. Let me check, sorry. Full screen, window full screen. Okay, so that's the item name. And we will set these to true. When we set these to true, the app will go to full screen mode and will hide the top status bar. As you can see now, the top status bar is hidden and we can start using our application right here. Okay, which is great. We have 2 tasks there, which is awesome, right? But let's try to run it again to check if the 2 tasks are being preserved. Okay, as you can see, it's not being preserved, the new task we just made. That may be because the app is not being properly paused. So I'll add a new task right here. Again, so I'll call it new task. And I'll click on add task. I will show my bars. I will pause the activity. Okay, I will close this. I will open it again. So to-do list, where are you? Oh, this emulator has sort of problem, right? So, okay. So I will run it from the IDE instead. And as you can see, right now I have actually the new task. So what's the problem here? That sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. Well, the app is kind of forced to be sort of paused. I think it's not being saved, right? So we can try to improve this, but in real world, I don't think it's really a must. But however, we can do it regardless, right? So how can we do that? Well, we can do that when we add or when we delete a new task, because that's all that we can do, right? We can either add or delete a new task. So every time we delete a new task, I'm gonna call the save info method. And every time I add a new task, I'll also call the save info method. Right now, let's check if that works or not. Okay, so the new app is running now. I will click on add new task and I'll say take out the garbage. I will click on add task. Okay, so that's the task. Now I'll do and run the app again from the IDE to check if it still has the take out the garbage. So as you can see now, it has a take out the garbage task. Now what this enables us to do? Well, what this enables us to do is it enables us to delete completely this onPause method because we don't need it. We are already saving the information as soon as we modify it, either by adding a task or by deleting a task. Now, sometimes, so let's run the app to check how can the app can be better, right? So imagine we have all these tasks and I've completed all of them. And I want to delete all of them, but I don't want to go one by one. So maybe it would be awesome if we add the feature, the ability to clear all the tasks, right? So let's do that. So to clear all the tasks, what we're going to do we'll go to our activity main.xml file, and at the top we will create a new linear layout, right? So we're gonna type linear layout. The width will be much parent. The height will be what was the height of this guy? 50 dp. So this will be 50 dp. Oops. So the height of this linear layout will be 50 dp. The orientation will be horizontal, and I think that's it. Now inside this linear layout, we will put our new task button right here, so we will move it inside this linear layout. But of course, here we have to change a few parameters. The first being the width of the button will be set to 0 dp, and we have also to set the height to match parent, and we also have to set the weight to 1. Okay? So this enables us to keep adding more buttons, and they will be resized automatically. So if I create a new button right here, the width will again be 0 dp, the height will be match parent, and the weight will be 1. Okay, as you can see here on the preview, I have 2 buttons, each of them occupying half of the screen width, which is awesome. And of course we have to add an ID to this button in order for us to be able to access it from the Java code. So you're going to say ID, and I will call it clear tasks button, or actually I will call it delete all tasks button. Okay, and of course it has to have some text, so I'm gonna say text, and I will say, instead of saying delete all tasks, which is kind of a 3-word, which is kind of long, I will just say clear tasks. Again, you can set it how you want. Now I'm gonna run it to check if what I'm looking here is actually what's happening on the emulator. So right now it's being compiled and sent to the emulator. I'm switching to the emulator, and as you can see, I have 2 buttons: the new task button, which we had previously, and now we have added this new clear tasks button, which doesn't do anything yet because we haven't accessed it from Java and haven't wrote the appropriate code, which we will do right now. So we'll go to main-activity.java, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna create that button again. We will create that button inside the onCreate method just after the new task button set on click listener. So I'm gonna write final button. Okay, so final button, and this will be clear, or actually delete all tasks button. Okay, and I'm gonna set this to find view by ID r.id.delete all tasks button, and then I'm gonna set the on click listener by saying delete all tasks button that set on click listener new on click listener, and the IDE will generate these couple of lines of code for me. And inside the on click method right here, what I'm gonna do is I want to clear all the tasks. So how do I do this? So basically, it's pretty simple. I will say list, not list view, just list that clear all, or just clear, right? It's not clear all, it's just clear. So list that clear, and the list will be cleared. But now we have to say also adapter that set the data, and we have to set the list in order for us to see the changes on the user interface. And of course, as you may guessed it, we have to save the information because we're changing the data set again. So basically with those 3 lines of code, we're clearing, we're updating the changes, and we're saving the information to persistent storage in order for us to know and to make the app actually deletes the tasks when we delete them. Okay, so now let's run it and let's see if it works. Okay, I'm compiling it and installing it on the emulator, and as you can see here I have my clear tasks button, and if I click on it, all the tasks are gone, which is great. Now let me show the bars and let me pause the activity, resume it, and they are still gone. Now let me destroy the activity, let me send it again to check if the tasks are still gone, and yes, they are still gone. So the delete all tasks feature is working. However, we may not want to delete them right away. We may want to ask the user for confirmation. Okay, so we will create a dialog that will ask the user something like, do you really want to delete all the tasks? And if the user says yes, then we will delete them, right? So kind of an extra layer in order to avoid kind of deleting them from for error or avoiding those mistakes. Okay, so we're gonna say alert dialog, and I'll call this dialog. I'll set these to new alert dialog dot builder. Okay, and I'll pass the context, which is main activity dot these. Okay, oops, I have to keep working on this. On the next line, I will write dot set title, and the title will be something like delete all tasks, and with a question mark. And if we want to be more explicit, we're gonna say set the message, and we're gonna say, do you really want to delete all the tasks? Okay, this is optional. You maybe want just to set a title with no message, but I'm just demonstrating how this is done. Then what we're gonna do is set positive button, and the first thing here will be delete all tasks. I don't know if that's too long, but then we will change if it is too long. And then we have to create a new dialog interface as the second parameter. So the same we did with the previous dialog. So you're gonna say new dialog interface dot on dialog interface that on-click listener, and the IDE will generate these couple of lines of code for us. And when this happens, we have to use the code we wrote previously. These 3 lines right here, we will move them inside the on-click method. Okay, so that's basically how we do this. On the next line, we're gonna say set negative button, and the negative button will say cancel or no or something. We can also set, and the second parameter will be null. We can also set the previous one to yes instead of delete all tasks. Yeah, so we can change this later if we want to, and of course we have to do it with we have to end this with a create. And after this, all we have to do is say dialog.show, and we're set. Okay, so now we're ready to run the application and to see if this dialog alongside with delete all tasks work. So to delete them, we have to create them first. So I'm gonna say 1 and 2 and 3. So we have 3 tasks right here, and if I click on clear tasks, it says delete all tasks. Do you really want to delete all the tasks? And we can say cancel or delete all tasks. If I click cancel, nothing happens. I go again and I will click delete all tasks, and all tasks are being deleted, which is great, of course. So now we have implemented that new functionality on our application, which is great. So if we go back to the application and we can maybe create a couple of more tasks, for example, hello one, and I'll click on add task, and I'll click on hello 2. So when you create an app, you should imagine how you will be using this app, how the users will be using this app. So if you're making a task manager or a to-do list application, and we have all of these tasks right here, and if we click on one of them, we can delete that and we can keep adding more tasks, and we can also have the option to clear the tasks. But we can think about something else to add this, because right now this app is kind of really usable, right? It's useful, and I would use it because it's useful. I can write my tasks, I can clear them if I want to clear all of them. If I want to clear one or more than one, I can also do that. So it really depends on what I want to do. But maybe I want to clear just some of them, but I don't want to clear them one by one, maybe, or something like that. So maybe we want to add another feature that will enable us to select some tasks and then delete those. Or maybe I want to change the color of one task, meaning that task is kind of a high priority or something. Or maybe I want to change the color of another task, meaning that task is also less priority or something like that. That's two features I'm thinking about. We can maybe also, I don't know, um, do some more kind of aesthetic changes to this, some more features as we use them. We can maybe show down here when the task was created, kind of the date in which the task was created, maybe, right? So we can do lots of things here. We can do lots and lots of things. But right now, as I told you, it is a very functional app and it's working great. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and in the following videos we will be expanding on this application, adding more, making it more visually appealing, adding more features, because for me this is kind of a very fun project. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I see you in the next one. Bye.